Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show, and welcome to this Week 15 Seahawk game recap between the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Oh my God, I'm gonna get real honest real quick. What the hell did I just watch? That was one of the most gutless performances I have seen this season from the Seattle Seahawks. No effort. Getting run out of your own building at Lumen Field tonight. I stayed up for that. It is currently midnight on the East Coast in Canada, and I stayed up to watch that. So let me get right into it before I ramble on too much more in the intro, and let's recap this debacle and embarrassment, frankly, of this Week 15 matchup between the Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. So, game summary, the Packers win 30 to the Seahawks 13. And let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks because they were the home team. They had a total of 208 yards today with 128 yards passing, 80 yards rushing. They averaged 3.7 yards per play, had 14 first downs. They went 4 for 13 on third down, didn't go for it on fourth down, had 56 total plays, 7 sacks allowed, 6 punts, had 5 penalties for 108 yards, had 0 fumbles lost, 2 interceptions thrown, one by Geno Smith in the end zone again to Carlton Valentine, and one by Sam Howell to I believe it was Ambare Cooper, I believe is his name. And the Seahawks ended the day with 27 minutes and 2 seconds of possession time. For the Green Bay Packers, they ended the day with 369 total yards, 229 yards passing, 140 yards rushing. They averaged 6 yards per play, had 21 first downs. They went 5 for 12 on third down, went 0 for 1 on fourth down, had 61 total plays, 0 sacks allowed, 4 punts, 5 penalties for 27 yards given up, had 1 fumble lost in the fourth quarter. Ernest Jones strips it and Julian Love picks it up. They had 0 interceptions thrown, and the Packers ended off the day with 32 minutes and 58 seconds of possession time. Ryan's focus players, let's talk about the Seahawks for a minute and let's talk about Geno Smith. 15 for 19, 149 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, the 1 interception to Carlton Valentine. And man, before I get a little too heated, let me say, Geno Smith, I hope you are okay. Third quarter of this game, I believe it was 7:08 in the third to be exact. Geno took a hit. It was not an illegal tackle because both his legs were off the ground, so that means it's not an illegal tackle on a low tackle. It was a pretty bad play, and Geno hurt his knee, hurt his leg, so he was out for the remainder of that game. And man, I just hope you're okay because seeing Sam Howell play in this game going in cold was not something I enjoyed. Geno Smith, here's where I get mad at you. Another pick in the end zone, dude. Why? Why? Uh, Over the past 4 games, you have been you've been good. You've been good. Limiting the turnovers, not having as many issues, and we've been winning games as a team. It's been awesome, but you throw another interception in the end zone. I believe you're up to 14 now on the season. And man, every time the field shrinks, you seem to throw it into double coverage where there's just no hope in heck that any of your wide receivers are going to catch a ball. And you're playing hero ball again. Stop doing that. Geno Smith also getting sacked multiple times in this game. I think he had 5 sacks in this game, getting taken out. O line, where are you at? I know Olu Oluwatimi also got injured in this game. They had to bring in Jalen Sundell to be the center, but Setoa Lamea had a lot of issues in this game, and the whole pocket just collapsed under the weight of this Packers defense. So, Geno Smith, just please, you throwing it into double coverage in the red zone needs to stop. It's been a problem for 2 years now. I just hope you're okay and hopefully you're ready to go for week 16. Let's get to running back Zach Charbonnet, the only guy that scored a touchdown today for the Seahawks. And Zach Charbonnet, 8 carries, 54 yards, averaged 6.8 yards per carry, the one touchdown, 27 yards in the fourth quarter. Got a touchdown there. Great to see off of, getting points off of the fumble. And it was nice to see Zach Charbonnet having a good game. Despite Kenneth Walker being out for the last 2 games, he's had a phenomenal time. Good to see him on the field and good to see that he's got, I believe, his eighth rushing touchdown of the season. Good game for Zach Charbonnet. Like to see what he's doing and how well he's performing. Let's get to wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba. 10 receptions, 83 yards, 8.3 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. Basically, the only one out there that was able to do anything against a secondary for the Packers without Jair Alexander. Unacceptable. See that Jair Alexander's out and you're having this much trouble on offense. Good to see Jackson Smith and Jigba still getting those catches, still being a really good blanket for Sam Howell, and Geno Smith continues to rack up those numbers and has done pretty well. Just wish he could have gotten a touchdown to help the Seahawks try to win this game. Let's get to the Seahawks defense and let's get to the D line. Jaron Reed, someone that I haven't highlighted for a bit now. I don't think I've highlighted him all season, actually. 4 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. And the thing about Jaron Reed is the second half, they started stiffening a little bit, and especially in the fourth quarter. Good to see that the run defense actually woke up in the fourth and third quarters, stopping the rough shot game that Josh Jacobs was having against the Seahawks defense. And Jaron Reed was a big component of that. He's a leader on this team along with Leonard Williams. He's a guy in the front that needs to be making tackles, and he was there. Decent game from Jaron Reed. Glad to see that he's making some big impact plays. Let's get to DB Julian Love, the safety, 4 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, the one fumble recovery on the Ernest Jones fumble by Josh Jacobs. Finally, Julian Love is, again, what can I say about him? He's a monster. He's trying to do his job, man. He's at least trying. You can never tell me that Julian Love doesn't have that kind of intensity to him and that effort to him. He was doing all he could out there, and he got the fumble recovery when the Seahawks needed it to score their only touchdown of this game. Linebacker Ernest Jones, the fourth, the guy that caused the fumble on Josh Jacobs, 6 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Ernest Jones, man, he is a guy that doesn't miss a lot of tackles, but a guy like Josh Jacobs is going to either run through you or he's going to try and starter step you. And as good as Ernest Jones played this game, Josh Jacobs was just too powerful to overcome. So, although I think Ernest Jones did show up in the fourth, getting that forced fumble, the whole linebacker core and the whole secondary of the Seahawks defense needed to play better against a high-powered Packers team that was 9-4, and they just didn't show up for the majority of this game. They started showing up in the fourth, but needs to be better going forward after having a 4 game win streak and then losing like this. But let's get to the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about quarterback Jordan Love, 20 for 27, 229 yards passing, two touchdowns, no interceptions. Both those touchdowns were to Romeo Dobbs, and this guy is just like franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. They keep getting these guys, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love, who are just showing out. This guy is still young. I believe, now in his fifth year in the league. That's hard to believe, but he is just a game manager, and that's all he had to be in this game because of how the Packers, at least this season, have identified themselves more and more. They're a huge running team, and Love just needs to make accurate passes, and he did in this game, being very accurate all throughout the game, really, to secure the victory for the Green Bay Packers. Good game from him. Let's get to running back Josh Jacobs. 26 carries, 94 yards, averaged 3.6 yards per carry, had the one touchdown. Josh Jacobs, man, former Raider, first round pick a couple of years ago, man, and he's still trucking along. And he made Carice Knight look like a float there because he just bounces. He bounces off of everybody he comes into contact with. He is the definition of a workhorse running back, and he is the definition of a power back. But he's also got a hybrid mode where he can run through you, and then later on in the game, he can put some moves on you, like some juke moves or whatever he needs to do to get downfield and rumble. And credit to this Packers offensive line keeping Jordan Love upright and making the holes nice and large to disperse the Seahawks defensive line, who has been phenomenal over the last four games. So, really good game from Josh Jacobs. Let's get to the wide receiver, Romeo Dobbs, coming off of a concussion, missing, I believe, the last 2 weeks, they said on the broadcast on NBC. Three receptions, 40 yards, averaged 13.3 yards per reception, had two touchdowns in this game. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice a bit, but um, Romeo Dobbs, man, he's just his ability to move people out of their way. Like, it took Rick Woolen the first drive of the game, took Rick Woolen and Julian Love to bring down Romeo Dobbs, and that wasn't even enough to bring down Romeo Dobbs for that first touchdown of the game. It was just insane masterclass. And Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, for this wide receiver core that's young as all get out, just got behind these Seahawks secondary and beat them over the head with the amount of power and just the amount of game sets that they have. It's just insane. So, good game from Romeo Dobbs, putting on a show his first game back. Let's get to the Packers defense, and let's get to Kingsley Mbari. Five solo tackles, zero assisted, two sacks, zero forced fumbles. This D line for the Packers, Mbari really showed up today, putting pressure on Geno Smith, getting sacks in there. Uh, a lot of the run game was stymied. They were keeping Zach Charbonnet to limited yardage. They were keeping Kenny McIntosh to limited yardage, and they were just getting all out pressure. Good game from the end. Let's get to the Xavier McKinney, three solo tackles, one assisted, zero sacks, zero interceptions. But Xavier McKinney, a former New York Giants safety, and he comes to Green Bay, has seven interceptions on the year, I believe, and he shows up in this game by blanketing wide receivers. He also made tackles in the run game today, but the reason why you didn't see Xavier McKinney have a fantastic game on the score sheet was due to the fact that he's just blanketing people. He's on Tyler Lockett sometimes when he needs help, and he's part of that double coverage package that you saw, that was basically on DK Metcalf most of the game. Good game from Xavier McKinney, just putting in the work, the linebacker, and let's get to Agarin Cooper. Four solo tackles, one assisted, one sack, one interception. That was the Sam Howell interception where Sam Howell kind of just threw it straight to him in the fourth quarter. But this young man, they were talking about it on the broadcast. Chris Collinsworth was saying, watch out for this linebacker because he is going to be a star in this league. And I can see why. He's helping everywhere he can. He's dropping into coverage, breaking up passes. He's able to make tackles and make them at such a rate where he can come down and blitz and get in there off of just some free uh, untouched block. He's not even blocked on one of the sacks that he delivered to, I believe it was Sam Howell. And it's just really insane to see a linebacker of his caliber so young. So Green Bay got a good one there. Congrats to him on the great game. Let's get to Ryan's final thoughts and what went well. Nothing really to look at to be positive about for this game. Honestly, in blowouts like this, it's really difficult for me to look at it and be positive. I can't. I guess good job for Zach Charbonnet for getting the touchdown and getting a little bit more respectable, but this game was just kind of pathetic to from start to finish. What to improve on? I don't know what happened tonight, but the whole team just didn't seem like they were ready to play football. Secondary was letting up some big yardage to Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. That was some really, really poor secondary coverage. Reek Woolen especially, man, on Christian Watson and on Romeo Dobbs, not great. He lets Christian Watson on one of the big plays of the game, and he did have two pass interference penalties called against him, I believe. Um, or no, he had one pass interference called against him, and it was basically in the red zone to end the half, and the Packers ended up getting a field goal out of it and getting up 20-3 for the first half score. So Rick Wallen, man, you're one of our best coverage corners. You do not have we know what you can do. We know what you can do. So you're a great corner. You have to not be getting burnt over the top as much as you've been in past seasons. You're 3 years into the league now. You need to make sure that wide receivers like Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs aren't taken lightly and you're actually covering those guys. That's one of the worst games I've seen from you. And just like I mentioned in the Ryan's Focus Players, Geno Smith threw another pick in the red zone, man. Not good. Not good. I don't understand what the issue is with Geno Smith having when the field is condensed like that in the red zone. I don't understand why he's thrown into triple coverage to Carlton Valentine, but he needs to not do that because that just gives away points that you could honestly just throw checkdowns if you need to. Make the safe play and good things will happen. And just this whole team really didn't show up today. It's really sad to see after winning 4 games in a row. My final thoughts overall, terrible effort at home by the Seahawks, and in a game that you need to win to stay in first place in the NFC West, you lose it and give it to the Rams. Hopefully, you can bounce back and show some life in Week 16 versus Minnesota. For the Green Bay Packers, you're now 10-4 on the season. Congrats to you guys. Still third in your division in the NFC North, which is just insane. It shows how competitive the NFC North is that you're 10-4, you're double digit wins, and you're still third. Just mind-boggling. You guys look like a pure playoff team right now, and you guys showed pure dominance throughout the entire game. So take your win and run with it. Anyways, guys, that is it for this Seahawk game recap of Week 15 on Sunday Night Football. I am so sorry. I'm kind of a jumbled mess and kind of ranting all over the place, but this game just, man. seeing how you won the last four games and then having this was just not a good game to watch, and it really sucks because this was on the anniversary of when the Seahawks retired the number 12 jersey for the 12s. I hope you guys can bounce back in week 16 against Minnesota. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Apologies for the low energy and the rant, but that's what happens when you don't show effort in the games. I'm going to get a little kind of out of my mind and lose my mind a little bit. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go Hawks go, and let's see if the Seahawks can get back in the win column when they face the Minnesota Vikings later on in week 16. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your week.